Hello, my name is Ben Keat, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about our plans here in Gloucestershire for a Commonwealth that connects the locality of this rural community with other parts of the UK and ultimately the rest of the world to drive initiatives concerned with the planet to a universal directive where we can actually implement a new universal order where we start to look at our progress towards the stars and towards colonizing other planets and putting our grassroots initiatives in place so that we can structure space programs from initiatives that just come out of simple hubs based at home or in the office or in our local communities. So what we intend to do with our realities as things start to become manifest here in the Cotswolds in Gloucestershire, with the universal realities of Eumosrus and our technologies start to become developed from grassroots initiatives that start to set up universal practices here in the Cotswolds. Then what we'll find from the locations that these practices come from is that we get other initiatives starting to develop outside our remit here in the Cotswolds, and we start to implement the reality of this universal phenomena to drive these grassroots initiatives through the roof in terms of what can actually be achieved in earthly terms under the existing digital constraints that we have all been under for the last 20 or so years. And with the help of some of the programs that we put in place here in the Cotswolds in Gloucestershire, we can develop a universal order that structures the grassroots initiatives to engender them with phenomena that is unseen in the digital era. It seems almost like some people say if someone from off world came to visit this planet, their technology would seem be akin to magic in many ways. You wouldn't quite understand how it worked, but it would do far more than our existing structure here on the planet. And as this data dump starts to come back to the Earth and we start to get these universal realities through our existing corporations such as NASA or whatever it may be, whatever industry it may be, some electricity power company that generates power. They suddenly come up with these new universal realities, and we suddenly find a whole new way of doing business that can drive things through the roof and take the potential of a limited reality to a far higher perspective in universal terms of what we can achieve. So initially, what we'll start to do is connect our existing practices in the location of Ena in the Cotswolds with the source of where these grassroots came from. So we'll start to farm out ambassadors to the locations where the businesses actually have as their source, and we will start to develop the practice in these locations and farm the reality of another practice in these locations, such as Eumosrus, in terms of creating a platform, laying down the infrastructure, setting up a safe haven in wildernesses which are at risk from industrial expansion of the earth through mining or whatever it may be, farming, anything that's over intensive and destroys the safety and security of the indigenous peoples in these locations. And with this safe haven structure, we'll be able to lay down platforms that enable the Commonwealth to expand from the inner reality in the Cotswolds and start to lay down a foundation which sets up the whole planet to be able to move off world and develop these practices that we start to become familiar with, safeguarding our own systems on this planet and developing a program to enable the surety and sanctity of colonies on other planets where we are safe to do business and set up infrastructure because of a tried and tested way of battling against the odds and coming up with something that is far more innovative than anything the digital infrastructure can throw up. So that's the basic plan of the Commonwealth of Eva and how it will start to expand throughout the planet initially, and then gradually move towards a shared consensus where we all come together and develop a space program where we can access other planets and start to set up and create settlements on these planets in certain locations, and develop a space program that can embrace the existing culture of NASA and SpaceX and all these other companies, and turn it into something that is much more multi-dimensional in terms of the countries involved and the locations that we choose to use that are not already industrial, that may be being protected as safe havens by the initial consensus from the Umosas reality. So that's a little bit about the Commonwealth. Thanks for listening.